Okay, so once I posted my 2025 crochet recap, you guys all have been asking me about this cute hexagon cardigan. I did it in a way where it was a quarter sleeve and it didn't go all the way down. So without further ado, let's get right into this tutorial. And the main question that I kept getting was, what color is that? What color is that? What yarn is that? So this is the yarn that I use. I actually got it from Walmart, and it is the Premier Puzzle yarn. And I used about 4 skeins of this for this project. And this is the name of the color. But like I said, you can find this at Walmart. But if you don't go to Walmart, you can find it on Premier Yarn's website as well. And because this is a medium weight 5 in bulky yarn, I am going to be using my 6.5 millimeter hook. And y'all know I love me a good magic ring, but if you still haven't been able to grasp the concept of a magic ring, you can always just chain up 4 and then slip stitch into that first chain. So you're going to start off with your ring, and once you have your ring, you are going to chain up 3. And for this project, that chain up 3 is always going to count as your first double crochet. We're going to be using double crochets for this project. So once you have your chain up 3, you are going to go back into that ring with 2 more double crochets. So you have a total of 3 for a cluster. So each cluster will be a total of 3 double crochets. So once you have your 3, you're going to chain up 2. And now you are going to insert another cluster. So insert 3 more double crochets. And as you see here, we have completed our second cluster. So you're going to chain up 2 and then begin on your next cluster. So for this first round, you are going to be working your cluster stitches, and you're going to do a total of 6. So we just did 2, so you're going to go in and keep going around until you reach 6. Alright, so we are at the end of round 1. We have our 6 cluster stitches here. So now what you're going to do is you're going to pull that short tail that's in the back, and you're going to pull it tight so that way you can close it around. So you don't want to pull it too tight because it's not going to close all the way. And then with this yarn, I know depending on your tension, it could be a little tight. But once you have your chain 2, you're going to insert your hook into the top of that chain 3 from the beginning with a slip stitch. To begin on round 2, you're going to always start with a chain up 3, and remember, like I said, that chain 3 always counts as your first double crochet. So where you just chain 3 out of, there is going to be a space connected. So in that space, you're going to go in with 2 more double crochets for your first cluster of 3. Now once you have your 3 double crochets, you're going to chain 1. You're always going to chain 1 before you go into the next space for this project. So in the next space, it is a corner stitch. So you're going to insert 3 double crochets, 2 and 3. And then once you have your 3, you're going to chain up 1. And then in that same space, you're going to insert 3 more double crochets. And that is how you complete a corner stitch. So in corners, you're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets in the same space. And remember, like I said, you're always going to chain 1 before you go into that next space. So I'm chaining 1, and then for this round, each space is going to be a corner stitch. So you're going to repeat that all the way around, inserting 3 double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets in the same space again, and then chain 1 before you go into the next space. Alright, so we are at the end of round 2 here. I have finished my last corner stitch, and I have my chain 1 on my hook. And remember, in the beginning we only started with 3 double crochets, so we're going to go into that same space with 3 more double crochets to complete the corner stitch. And 3, and then I'm going to chain up 1 and then slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 from the beginning. and this is what your work should be looking like at the end of round 2. And it's okay if it starts curling, it's fine. That's just how this yarn is, and when you're working with Hexagon, that's how it is in the beginning. Okay, so always remember to chain 3 at the beginning of each round, and that counts as your first double crochet. So in that same space, you're going to insert 2 more double crochets for your first cluster, and then you're going to chain 1. And then in the next space, you see here, it's not a corner stitch, so it's not where we have 2 sets of 3 double crochets. So in this space here, you're only going to insert 3 double crochets, and then chain 1 to go into the next space. And then the next space here, you see it's a corner, so you're going to insert 3 double crochets, and then chain 1, and then in that same space insert 3 more double crochets because it is a corner stitch. So you see we just finished our first corner stitch. So for this round, you're just going to go ahead and go around and repeating the same thing. So in the spaces, you're only going to insert 3 double crochets, and then in the corner, you're going to do your 2 sets of 3 double crochets. 3, and then always remember to chain 1 before you go into the next space. So just keep going all the way around and completing your stitches. So at the end of round 3, this is what your work should be looking like. I know it doesn't really look like much. It looks like kind of like a flower, and if it's folded up and twisting, it's okay, y'all. Just remember, just keep going around and around and around until your project grows until the size that you want. So once you have it, you're gonna fold it like this, so that way you can see that it's forming. So you'll have your sleeve, and then you'll have your opening as well. So your opening would be right here, and then you have your sleeve. It's going to grow as well as you do more rows. So as you do more rows and going around, the project is just going to grow. And as you work on it, it's okay for you to stop and kind of hold it up to you just to see where you're at and see how many rows you need to go, or for the size that you want to go for. So I'm going to do my rows and I'll be back. So I am back with my completed rows, and I did a total of 12 rows. So that was enough for me. I am working on like a size small, and with this yarn, it is bulky yarn, so it is a little bit oversized, not too much, but you don't have to do too many rows if you are working with like a medium weight 4. So 12 rows is good enough for like a size small, size medium, but if you wanted to do like a medium to large or extra large, I probably would suggest maybe doing about 13 rows or 13 to 15 rows for that size, but this is how much I have left. So once you have your completed amount of rows, what you're going to do is you're going to start working on another row, but you're not going to go all the way around the hexagon. So you're going to chain up 3, and in that first space you're going to insert 2 more double crochets like we've been doing. So for this, you're just going to go and continue doing your stitches like you were doing, but you're only going to do that for 4 sides. So you should have a total of 6 sides, but you're only going to go until you reach the end of side 4, and then you'll stop. So at the end of side 4, you're going to go ahead and fold your work like I did before, showing you the form of your cardigan. So you're going to fold it to where your working cluster stitch is on top and it's facing you, and you want it to where you are going to work down the sleeve. So we are pretty much working from the opening to the end of the sleeve, if that makes sense. So you want it to where, like I said, the 3 double crochets are on top and facing you. So now you're going to slip stitch into the back side. So you're not going to go into the panel like this. You're going to go into it behind the stitch with the slip stitch. I hope that made perfect sense for you guys. If not, just watch. Now once you slip stitch and have both sides connected, you're going to go into that first space that we have 3 double crochets already out of, and you're going to insert 3 more double crochets to complete that corner stitch. So then once you insert your 3 double crochets, you're going to go to the back panel with a slip stitch. So we are going to be joining as you go with the granny stitch method. So once you slip stitch, you're going to go back to the front with 3 double crochets, and then on the back side you're going to insert a slip stitch to connect. So it's pretty much going in like a zigzag motion. So we're going to do our double crochets on the front panel and then slip stitch to the back panel. So this is what your work looks like. You see the 2 side panels are connected with our granny stitch. So you're just going to repeat that all the way down until you reach the end of your sleeve. So keep going all the way down until you reach this point right here, and then I will meet you back. Okay, so at the end of the row, you should have inserted 3 double crochets, and once you have those 3 double crochets, you're going to go ahead and enter your hook into the top of that chain 3 from the beginning, and you're going to go in with a slip stitch. So this is what the work should be looking like once you've connected both side panels. You can see the top is beautifully seamed together without any bulkiness or anything. So now what you want to do, you're going to start working on the sleeve and going in a round. But what I like to do is I like to try it on just to see where I'm at. So once I've tried it on, this is what the work looks like on me. So this is where it's fitting. So remember, I only did 12 rows, and then we have that 13th row but only 4 sides. So this is where the sleeve ends on me, and like I said, I was going for a quarter sleeve look. So honestly, you can leave it just like this. You don't have to do any extra rows, but if you want it to be a little bit longer, you can continue on doing some rows like I'm about to do next. So this is how it looks. Remember to try your work on just to see where you're at and go from there. Okay, like I said, you don't have to do this part. It's optional. If you like the length of your sleeve, you don't want to add any extra length, that's fine, but I'm going to do a couple rows. So to start that, I'm going to chain up 3, and then in that space that chain 3 is connected to, remember that counts as your first double crochet. So in this connection space right here, I'm going to insert 2 more double crochets for my first cluster of 3. And for this round, we're not going to be working any corner stitches, so we're just going to be going in each space with 3 double crochets. So chain 1 before you go into that next space, and then in that next space you're going to insert 3 double crochets. So continue on down the round, inserting your 3 double crochets in each space, and I will meet you back at the end once I've inserted my last cluster. So here I have inserted my last set of 3 double crochets, and now I'm going to just chain 1 and then slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 from the beginning to close the round. So I'm going to go ahead and complete this for a total of 3 rounds because that is just the number that I like. So just keep going until you have your desired length. So I have completed my 3 rounds for my sleeve, and it is definitely at the length that I would like. So just for the finishing touches, I always like to go around with a row of single crochets. So I'm going to chain up 1, and then in the top of every double crochet stitch, I'm going to insert 1 single crochet. And now this is optional. You don't have to do it. If you like how it looks already, that's fine. I just like to give it a nice trimming just so I can make it seem like it's fully finished, you know? But once you've completed your first panel, you're going to go ahead and repeat the same thing for your second panel because you are going to need 2 sides to complete this project. So go ahead and repeat that, and then I will see you back at the end. But yeah, I'm only going to do this for 1 round. So I'm going to go around the opening of my sleeve, and I will meet you back once I've completed all my single crochets. All right, we are almost at the end. So at this point in the video, you should have completed your 2 panels. So I have my first sleeve here, and then I have my second sleeve as well. And this actually took no time at all. It worked up so fast. As long as you have something like that you're watching. I was actually watching Stranger Things, so that's what was on, and I was just flowing through this project. So once you have both panels completed, all you have to do is connect them on the back side. So from this point here, and then you're going to go all the way down. So for that, you can either do a single crochet stitch, you can slip stitch, you can sew it. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue on with the join as you go method with the granny stitch. So once you have them connected, you're going to fold them together like this, and then you're going to insert your hook and reattach your yarn. So you're going to insert your hook into that chain 1 space in between, like a quarter stitch. So you're going to make sure you go into both panels, and then once you go in with both panels, you're going to insert a slip stitch, and then from there you are going to start working your 3 double crochets. Sorry y'all, I'm like spacing out right now. So yeah, you want to just make sure that everything is aligned properly and keeping them as lined as possible. So you're just going to go in, remember, in that front panel with your 3 double crochets, and then you're going to go on the back side with your slip stitch and just continue that zigzag motion. So I'm inserting my 3 double crochets right here, and 3, and then you're just going to go on the back side with a slip stitch right here in this next space. So just like we did on the sleeve part, we're going to do the same thing. So in the front, 3 double crochets, and then in the back, slip stitch. So continue that all the way down, and then I will meet you back at the end. So I'm at the end now, and this part is optional, but like I said, I like to add some finishing touches and just add that trimming to make it look complete. So I'm going to go around with a row of single crochet. So I'm just going to insert a single crochet into each stitch all the way around the base of the cardigan. Now you don't have to do this part, you could just cut and fasten off and be done with your cardigan, but like I said, I like to add my finishing touches. So I'm going to go around with my row of single crochet, and then once I complete that, I will be back. We did it, Joe. Okay, so we are at the end, and this is how the completed cardigan is looking. Everything is complete, everything is tucked in, no loose ends. So yeah, this cardigan is so pretty, y'all, and I love this yarn and the color. So yeah, last January I made this cardigan, and when I posted my crochet recap for 2025, everybody was asking me like, what color was that, and did I have a tutorial on the cardigan? Maybe it was just the way that I wore it because it was quarter sleeve and not like all the way down. But yeah, so I decided for the first I would complete this video for you guys, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it.